Russell Brand has just observed that the more he prays, the more coincidences seem to happen.
Since I've become a Christian, I've been asked a lot about mentorship, and I've spoken to some very well-known and popular and brilliant members of the Christian community. For example, Nicky Gumbel has really helped me. I'm reading his Bible in 1 year. And J. John has been fantastically helpful to me. Yesterday, we prayed about allowing Christ to knock on the door of your heart and saying, Christ, if you are there, I open the door of my heart to you. Today, when I looked at the Bible, it said the famous William Temple quote must always be considered, that the more I pray, the more coincidences seem to happen. Coincidences are created by prayer, a kind of sacred synergy, you might call it. So I was thinking about this idea of our Lord Jesus knocking on the door of my heart, because I feel like even though I am Christian, there is, of course, more yield, more selfishness, more territory within me to be yielded to him. And then today, on my anniversary, my wife gave me this gift. And as I opened the doors, I saw that coincidences happen more when I pray.
Okay, so he's pointing to this particular coincidence, but the rule that he's laying out is a really good one. I don't think it's quite precisely the way he's describing it, but it's so true. The more you pray, the more coincidences will seem to happen. This was true even in my own reversion. I was an atheist for like 10 years, and when I was reverting, I was in the process of reverting, I stumbled across a book. I was at a political event that coincidentally was taking place at a high school friend's father's bar and restaurant in Manhattan. And there were all these sorts of books on the table, lots of right-wing books, some of which were kind of like schlock. But one of them looked really interesting to me. And it was a book, small little book, and it said Coincidentally by George W. Rutler. And there was an epigraph on the top, and it said, all nature is but art unknown to thee, all chance direction which thou canst not see. A line that I've used on this show, especially in the early days, quite a lot. It's a line from Alexander Pope. I flip it on the back. I see that the top blurb is by William F. Buckley Jr. I had just been in the inaugural class of William F. Buckley Jr. Fellows in college. Big fan of Buckley. I've gone on to write the introduction, the new foreword to Buckley's book, God and Man at Yale. A very important figure. And it said, save this as a valuable Rutler first edition. I opened the front of it, and it's signed by the author. And then I find out, this was the craziest one, the author was a Catholic priest. I was in the process of reverting. It was really happening. Strange things were happening. And then I look and I see he was the priest at a church like 3 blocks away. That was a crazy coincidence. Then I later find out he had actually just been moved out of that parish, and he was moved to a church in Hell's Kitchen, and the church was called St. Michael. Another strange coincidence. So what does that mean? There's so much more to say. First, though, text Knowles to 989898. Global markets were throttled at the beginning of the month as a sharp slowdown in hiring and a weakening in customer spending led to worldwide panic that the U.S. may be heading into recession. Here's a thought. Just as it's a good idea to put on your parachute before you jump out of a plane, it might be a good time to invest in some gold from Birch Gold, as a safety precaution for your financial health. If our train wreck in the making of an economy doesn't give you enough motivation to convert an IRA or 401k into a precious metals IRA with Birch Gold, let me give you one more reason. Backed by popular demand, now through the end of the month, you can get your very own 24-karat gold-plated Truth Bomb on qualifying purchases. The only way you can get it is by texting Knowles, K-N-O-W-L-E-S, to 989898. Get your free info kit, learn how you can own gold, tax shelter, then put that parachute on, and then you can stare at your illustrious golden Truth Bomb as it sits in its place of reverence, reminding you of the great decision you made to protect your savings with gold. Text Knowles, K-N-O-W-L-E-S, to 989898 to claim your eligibility and make your purchase before August 31st. The way that Russell Brand has said it, I fear, it's fair enough, but I fear it could confuse people. It's not that your praying causes coincidences to happen. It's that your prayer, living your life in faith, more and more in accord to the truth, will allow the logic of the universe to become more apparent to you. As we receive and cooperate with grace, we see more clearly the hand of the author of grace in the world. That's what happens. But the phenomenon he's describing, the more you pray, the more coincidences seem to happen, that is 100% true. Anyone who has ever undergone a conversion or even a reversion experience, and many other people too, will tell you that. I'm sure there are many people in the comment section who can attest to this right now. And it's really delightful to see as Russell Brand has left a life of hedonism and appears to be, well, he was baptized, and then he appears to be growing more and more in the faith. That really does happen. But it's sort of the same thing with prophets. It's not that prophets predict the future like Nostradamus or something with a crystal ball. It's that prophets are telling the truth. In many ways, prophets in the Old Testament are kind of like pundits. They're kind of like commentators. They're telling the truth, and they predict the future. This is another line from Father Rutler, actually. They're telling the truth, and they are predicting the future in as much as they are warning of the consequences of ignoring or denying the truth. That's what's going on. You see things a lot more clearly, and you see the meaning of things a lot more clearly, too. Because the world has meaning. And even the most hardened atheist has to behave as though the world has meaning. That's the only way we can talk to each other. If we deny that things have meaning, then we can't speak anymore. Then we're just babbling and just making silly sounds. That was a great clip. Now hold up, ring the bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.